Hey, welcome everybody to Friday Night at the Crib. It's open mic. The link is in the right-hand side. We're going to talk about bounty, and we're going to try and start talking about solutions to sniping. As far as bounty goes, and the condition of the game right now, its lag is definitely horrific. From what I can see on Discord, they're well aware of this issue and they're trying to fix it. I'm not sure when a solution is going to be around, but I actually started the pre-show a little late because I tried to auto a 71 and blind auto, and it timed out more than once because it was just not moving inside of the target. It was not even be able to drive it. It was just not moving inside of there. So yeah, but feel free to join the show. What we're going to try and start with is since bounty is sort of a little bit old school at this point. This is bounty's been bounty for a while. We'll get into bounty later, but what I wanted to start with is solutions to sniping. On Discord today, just Mike, who's the GM of Battle Pirates, was asking the players what they thought about certain solutions that they're currently, working through at this point in time. So we're going to talk about that, and I would love to have everybody's input. And feel free to join the show if you have any ideas about potential solutions, or how it impacts your game or whatnot. Especially as this relates to, we don't know the details of this yet either, but how it relates to condensing sectors and things of that nature, where it's become a little harder to get away from certain types of players, and that's going to be happening soon. Yes, everybody, yeah, we're well aware of the lag. I'm not going to be able to fix that, but we're acknowledging that they are working on it. But yes, I don't know how, when or where or how they're going to fix it. Yes, nobody can play at the moment. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right on your YouTube screen. Happy birthday, Toxic!
Well, thank you very much, and good day, everyone.
Happy birthday, Toxic.
Thank you. 23.
Very nice, very nice. You're using a little kickside math with that, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
Yes, I thought so. And Magic Mike.
Howdy, everybody.
And Watchman.
Hi all.
Howdy. And Dr. Death.
Hello.
And this is Hefe, and I will post the link one more time because I'd like to have everybody's input, especially on the sniping issue. We can all bitch about bounty, but I want to have a positive discussion as far as what you guys think the best solution is to sniping, whether it's an issue or not, or how you would like to see it fixed. So, because I consider, we could play a little game here. I sort of consider our PvE chore fleets to be domesticated animals that have been released in the wild. And some of them do better than others. I consider your fangtooths to be like your cat. If you had a cat released into the wild, it's gonna do okay. And the fangtooths can basically time somebody out that it's going to attack them. And, if you drive right and you play smart, but some of these are, your Inferno Dragons, if they get hit by the wrong thing, it's sort of like, releasing a cow into a jungle somewhere. It has no defenses. It's not very smart, and it only does, it only eats and craps, and that's basically what they do.
Restrict PvP to PvP fleets only.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to get into some details on that. That's why I have some. I just wanted to introduce it. We have some slides that. Well, we have just basically one slide. I'll go ahead and put mic on present. These are some of the basic ideas that were presented in Discord earlier today. Is to restrict fleet versus fleet to basically PvE fleets, conquerors and defenders. And that would be one solution. That's actually my most favorite at this point, unless somebody comes up with a very ingenious solution, something that's smart and whatnot. Restrict fleet versus fleet to class versus class. So, garrison versus garrison, assault versus assault, skirmish versus skirmish, da da da.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah. And the next slide's going to show that. The third idea is to add an escort fleet to protect the PvE fleet. And we're not talking about a young lady. We're talking about something else, which would probably be a PvE fleet. And we don't know the mechanics of this at this point. Is it just sort of like a fleet that you have in your dock, or is it a fleet that's riding along?
No.
Hey, before, let me get the ideas out there before you start. Don't interrupt at this point. And then, and it would sort of pop up, and then basically it would allow your PvE fleet to escape. I'm not sure if this is restricted to, there wasn't a lot of details. There's a potential you could put a gunboat out there, and they attack your gunboat, and then you run away. They may kill your gunboat, but who fucking cares at that point? The fourth one is somehow lowered the negative impact on the PvE fleets from being sniped, such as if you got sniped, it's instant repair or something of that nature. But that feels like it could be gamed so easily, in my opinion. By, let's say I go and hit 7 120s, and then I have Mike snipe me, and then I'm instant repairing my base. There seems to be issues with something like that.
Yeah, I already thought that one, yeah.
Yeah. And so you want to go through them from top to bottom? Does anybody want to discuss the idea of just having conquerors and defenders be able to engage each other on the map?
That's really the only one that'll work. And it's the only one that'll work because of the very simple fact that your PvE fleets are all resistance-based and your PvP fleets are all deflection-based.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way you're ever going to be able to make this work is if you restrict it straight to conquerors, defenders.
Yeah, and the other thing is the huge armor difference. The 2.3, 2.3 plus armor that the conquerors have and conquerors and defenders have versus 80k. It's it's a huge, massive difference in the amount of armor. So that's one reason I like. That's my number one is the top one. The next one, does anybody else have anything on conquerors and defenders being the only ones that can engage each other on the water?
I completely agree with that. And only conqueror holes can defend as well, outside of base. Obviously, because that stops anyone putting a PvP fleet outside. They can't be engaged in.
Well, yeah. If somebody put a PvE fleet as a guard fleet, it would. I think it would work sort of like, like your Phantom. If you put a Phantom fleet,
it's up to them. You know what I mean? But it's sacrificial land. Then,
yeah.
At the moment, PvP fleets attacking PvE. It's like an MMA fighter going into a kindergarten. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's no challenge.
Yeah. It's a silly. It's not. I don't. It's only a revenge move, and it's not a strategical. There's no strategy against it at this point because you can't even. as an example, okay, maybe I'm going to put a Conqueror hull in my chore fleet. You can't do that. You can't enter the targets that way. So there's not really a good defense at this point, in my mind. What about, I have my opinions in this one, restricting, and Mike, can you go to the next slide? Restrict fleet versus fleet to class versus class. Oops, the other way. This is a picture of a Inferno Dragon that's meant to eat other Inferno Dragons. This has the Ripsaws on it, which has a range of 93. Most people that have an Inferno Dragon have a range of about 88, 89. You only need to defend against explosive, so it's up to 99. It's faster. It's got more splash reduction. It outranges a regular Inferno Dragon. It would just eat it. One of these would eat a whole fleet for lunch, and if you drive halfway decent, you're not going to take any damage. So this is a lot of people are a fan of class versus class. Like Garrison can only attack Garrison, but you're going to have people out there building these type of fleets just to snipe fleets, and it doesn't take much imagination. I just saw that idea and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put a fleet together or a ship together that would just tear this up.
I always see the chore fleets are just tools as a means to an end. Yeah, we do our chores so that we can build our defensive and attacking fleets. And the defensive and the attacking fleets, obviously the Conqueror and Defender hulls, they're the ones that should be doing the PvP battles. The others should be left alone, let people, sort of scribble away, toil away, get the bits they want, then come out and fight. If people choose to never come out and fight, that's up to them. Their bases can still be attacked.
Yeah, and that's a solution that I agree with. I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to have people on is there another solution? Because I don't think the class versus class works.
Well, no, the class versus class ain't going to work because of one glaring problem. You have two different classes in PvP, which is where you want fleet versus fleet at.
Class versus class.
You see what I mean? So if conquerors can only conquer, if conquerors can only hit conquerors, and defenders can only hit defenders, and of course defenders can't move.
Most of the time when I say class versus class, and generally I'm meaning the PvE fleets. So garrison versus garrison, assault versus assault, skirmish versus skirmish, yada yada yada. That's what I mean.
I still wouldn't be happy with that, and I don't think a lot of other people would, because it still stops people being able to do the chores, which is really too much of.
See, and I think that's what it is I think the underlying problem that people have with the sniping and with FVF right now is that it precludes them from actually doing what they want to do, because they've made the game so chore heavy that we rely on all of these fleets. And with the repair times that they've implemented, I mean, you don't want a FVF, not with that fleet.
No. And also, like, and did you see the example of the slides up at this point?
I did not. I actually just walked in. I was pulling welding equipment inside, so.
Yeah, well, not that. The one that was up, like, it's a Inferno Dragon outfitted with ripsaws and other things that would just annihilate an Inferno Dragon. Would take no damage. It outranges it, it outspeeds it, and it's got way higher explosive resistances. Yeah, I'm almost tempted to build this just to see how well.
Just to troll people.
Yeah. Well, no, because I had some 78 sniper fleet 3 days ago, and I wasn't sure if he did it intentionally or not. But he, once I found out, I saw him launching all these fleets for him to do the FM at low level fleets, and I went over and just wiped out one of his. I wiped out one of his fleets of. What was it? It was a weird combination of like citadels and arbiters and whatnot, and he had 10 on the water. I only took one out. I felt bad about that, but because in case he did it accidentally, like I was next to a target he was trying to hit or whatnot, so I only took one out. I didn't take 10 of them I didn't take any damage. I could, and I just sent him a message, don't snipe fleets. And he was like, it was a case of mistaken identity. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I didn't go out and take the rest of the 9
Sure,
fleets.
it was.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, I only had it was only a vet that I had, so I still instant repaired on the map. But it was, I could have wiped out. I could have had him for days repairing because of that.
I say, don't get me wrong. I'm not coming from a person that doesn't do PvP. I mean, we took a golden nexus from what are they called, Hellenic Pride Alliance, Yanis and his lot, and then a few hours ago, gangs come and hit and took it from us. But it was a great fight. You know what I mean? We had a great fight, and they hit our bases. I hit a few of theirs. I won 3 fleet v fleet battles. With proper PvP ships. It was fun. That's the bit I like. Even though they're a bigger alliance than us, and we knew we was outnumbered, outgunned, but I still enjoyed it. even though we lost, it was still fun at the time, And so yeah, I'm all for PvP fighting each other. So it's not like, oh, you're only saying it because you don't want to get hit. No, I'm quite happy. I popped my bubble, went straight out, hit a base again or two, and then I was doing PvP, and I popped my base again to defend like the mega holes. And the thing is I'm not even doing bounty yet. I was just wanting the fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. But the main thing is the chore fleets, which you missed it, George. I compared them to domestic animals that have been released in the wild, and some fare better than others. But there's no good way to, a lot of people were pushing for, like you can attack a garrison with the garrison, but that can so easily be
easily manipulated.
Yeah, and that's it doesn't really solve the problem. It just causes some people to throw some, in this instance, throw some ripsaws on your Inferno Dragon.
I'll say, as we've already said, sorry, the PvP holes, fighting PvP holes is the way. Look, if they can lock PvP holes out of doing chores, then they can lock PvP holes out of hitting chore fleets.
Yeah,
that's simple. That can't be that difficult for them to put in.
I think the easiest thing right now is for them to just start off with a base and kind of give themselves time to look at things. So the easiest thing right now is just let Conquerors be the only FVF stuff. Now, they still have to kind of figure out, well, what if someone guards with an Inferno Dragon? I mean, guard fleet, I'm sure they can figure out a way to make it that, you drop anything that's like that. But I think they got to start with a base of something that's easy enough to watch, get some data, see how people react, and at the same time protect all those PvE pirates that they've now, made, because that's kind of how they themselves decided that the direction of the game. So, got to start from somewhere, and I think that's the easiest place to start.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was trying to come up with something less restrictive because the game was based on, because he started playing way back when the game was based on hitting other people's fleets.
Who is he?
Just Mike. He's
okay.
Yeah, he was playing way back. He was playing back in 2011 when one of the main ways that you got resources was taking them from other ships or other bases. Because it started off with taking them from other ships. Because you would sit there and you would mine, and then you would go and hit that guy's ship.
Yeah, but I don't ever remember the repairs being as extreme as they are now.
Yes, that's the other issue. Yeah.
I mean, I was out there doing that as well. But, so it didn't seem so bad at the time. But now, I mean, when you can, in a few seconds, you've lost a fleet that could take 10, 12 hours or more to repair.
or 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's just you're out for the day, or unless you want to coin like crazy, and a lot of people are not going to, So
No,
that's
a lot of people, when they see that kind of repair time, they're like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, if that happens to them a few times, especially if they've been sniped, they might not get the stuff done to move them on to get where they need it to get to the next. The time has run out for them to do stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things that involves you in sniping is participating in PvP. You hit somebody's base and and then things get ugly. Next thing you know, you're getting sniped.
Oh, I think that's changed a little bit.
Well, it still happens.
I think a lot of people are sniping just to be dicks.
Yep, there seems to be a big increase in it. Yep.
Okay. Are they level 78 using their alts?
Oh yeah, yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. The level 78 using their alts. Yeah, that needs to be taken care of. And I think this PvP versus PvP will help some of that, because now they're you can't even take out their docks. It's that part's a little bit that part's a little bit silly.
Well, the uptake in sniping is just a direct result of the fact that PvP is dead. I mean, there's the truth of the matter.
It's there if you want to find.
Players are going to get their kicks one way or another, and if they're not out smashing bases, they're going to find something else they can do for fun to aggravate people.
It's dead because why? Because people aren't investing in PvP a lot of people aren't investing in PvP because they keep on waiting for the refactor. Or what do you think it's completely?
Well, I mean, it's just if you look, there's just not a lot of base hitting going on, and that's what PvP was. Yeah, you can go back in the day. We stole resources from ships and stuff, but no, it was taken. If you go back in the day, I would launch a fleet and come back 4 hours later to see, if it was ready so I could go hit bases. I wasn't chasing fleets. I was chasing bases. You know what I mean?
I am seeing a lot of PvP lately. Maybe I've upset quite a few people. I don't know. But, my base has always been quite a popular destination.
But it's not like it was even 6 months ago. I mean, it really isn't. And until they get that fixed, yeah, a lot of players are turning to sniping because they still feel like they're kicking somebody's ass.
With their alt.
Yeah. They don't want to take those repairs on their regular base if they screw up.
Fundamentally, I think they're looking at the refactor. I'm dying to see how that's going to go. But for the sniping itself, I mean, I think they just got to go back to basics. Conquerors only for now, and watch and learn and see how we interact. Just like they wanted to do with the refactor. They wanted to watch and see how we were doing stuff with the fleets and all the stuff. I mean, it's either that or they're going to have to cut down the repair times to like an hour for a fleet. And I don't think they're going to do that. So something's got to get done. They do have to look at something. But I don't know. Toxic, I haven't heard from you yet. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Conqueror is the answer.
It's either that or they're going to have to just block FVF entirely, and that's, that's kind of silly.
What about garrisons and skirmish and siege, and can they still hit each other, or can
I wouldn't, just because you can manipulate that so easily. Like I'm halfway posted one up. I know right off the top of my head there's a couple of things that I could do that would totally just jack up anything within one particular class.
Yeah, you could build a fleet just for doing a PV
FEF
fleet for doing fleet versus fleet, but like not intended to hit any map targets, but it's going to kill most other fleets out there because it's not been built as it was intended to. It's built as an absolute killer fleet.
But now, wait a second. Now, let's look at it on a flip side of the coin, though. If you're willing to spend the money to build that killer or the time to build that killer so that you can go out and do that part of the game because that's what you enjoy doing, who are we to say that's not right? I mean, it's part of the core of the game.
I think if you enjoy PvP, you should hit PvP fleets.
It's part of the old core of the game, and that's the problem that we're facing right now, is that the game has drifted so far from the original Battle Pirates type of idea that we rely so heavily on PvE, and not of our own choosing. I mean, you have to go out, like the map targets are getting increasingly more difficult with, not a corresponding increase in payout, right? Things are costing more to do. You need to be able to get out there and get the fundamental basics that you need to play the game. And if you are having those fleets that do that get sniped or fought in an FVF because someone felt like building an Inferno Dragon that way, what are you going to do? That you're blocked entirely from the game. I mean, you're not going to coin. I don't know anybody that's going to coin, what is it, 12 hours, 14 hours for a Inferno Dragon fleet? That's more than that. It's 12 hours for a four fleet. So
when people say, back in the day, when we've all played this game for a long time, that the original fleets could hit anything, and they could, but a lot of those battles, the PvP or fleet battles, will be close. They could be close battles, and if you're hitting a PvP battle again, with another PvP fleet, again, it could be a close battle. If you want to hit fleets, enjoy the close battle and enjoy getting your narrow win or a devastating win. But basically they're the fleets that should be able to do it. The other fleets are, for all the extra chores they've given us, that allows those that want to do PvP be able to do it.
We've had a fundamental split of PvE and PvP. It just follows that if you're going to do that, you're going to do it for FVF as well.
Yeah,
I mean that just seems like a logical following there.
I mean, I remember with my Seawolves being able to take out FFs, if you drove them right, years ago, I'd ever go. Sometimes I'd win, sometimes I'd lose. Yeah, when they've been hitting bases in our sector, and I had some great battles, but they were close battles. They were close battles, depending how good they built their ships. And but as we've been saying, that the Conqueror holds now against our chore fleets, that it is the competition. So that's why I agree, and I think most people here do agree, that it should just be the PvP, which is the Conqueror and Defender holds. Only one players' fleets are allowed to engage each other.
Okay, think of it this way: you got a fleet of gluts, right? But you don't have the lead glut. How do you use them?
You hit a base or you hit a player's fleet.
Well, you wouldn't be able to hit a. You wouldn't.
Well, I think on that one.
Hold on, you wouldn't be able to hit what?
You wouldn't be able to put a gun butt in front of it, would you?
Okay, I think in that they can make exceptions because they've done it in raids.
Yeah,
but they've allowed you to do that, so they can. When it comes to like sub fleets, they can make an exception on that particular one. Because they put that in before. So
all they have to do is reflag a gunboat or a corvette into any class system. Yeah. That's not hard to come across. That's easy
make
to
it a generalist or something, and allow generalists to do whatever. Go.
No, I mean that's an easy fix. I mean, I think that because of the split and because of the way that repair times have become and because of how niche the fleets are, that they've got to start at one base point, and the base point is it's got to be Conqueror fleets. That's the only thing that makes sense right now.
Totally agree. I mean, we've had there was so much sniping going on before the bounty started that we had a couple of players, they wanted to jump out. They had enough of it. I said, I'm not moving. I said, because wherever you go, there's snipers now. Wherever we've gone, we found snipers. So what we did is we put a concerted effort on the sniper, the one particular one. There was a couple, and he jumped before Bentley started. You know, and he was about level 114, something like that. You know, but he was just constantly, he got plenty of attention. And
well, I mean, you know, sniping was bad enough in the past where they actually changed the rules of an entire hull. All the subs you can't launch unless it's repaired now, and a lot of that came from all the sniping that was going on. I mean, it's been a problem in the past, and they've acknowledged it in the past, that they've acknowledged it now. It's just, you know, they've painted us into a corner in terms of what we can use and how we can use it and how we can build, that they also have painted themselves into a corner. And you're very limited in your options at this point. I mean, what are you going to do? And I think the easiest thing is just doing it to the Conquer hulls. I mean, that's a good starting point. They can watch and see how we interact and how we use it and how we do, and go from there.
oh yeah,
And that
I
way
mean,
they don't have a ton of people getting all frustrated and pissed off and quitting and not playing because they can't do their FM, or they can't get, you know, uranium to build something, you know, the next turret up or something. I mean, it's you know, it's a lot more difficult for players that are not at top tier to deal with that,
they stop
where most of us
sniping,
can just go, you know.
yeah, if they go PvP only, you know, if they stop sniping, the only people that's going to moan about it are the snipers, you know. And how much money are they spending anyway if they want to quit, because their fleets are normally not taking any damage, you know.
Are we sort of done with the sniping thing? Because there was something else that came up that I wanted to.
Yeah, move on.
Okay. Assuming everything holds equal, what would you think about events / raids, whatever we're calling them at this point, where you can bring in you and 3 other of your buddies to attack a target? I'm assuming with the exclusion of this is the only target to hit, that you're forced to do this, because this what's this not revenge raid, what was this base?
Yeah, they did that years ago where 4 of us could hit it.
Yeah, 4,
Long way back,
because you would
There's a couple
I-
times
I-
you could do that. Base
Yeah,
invaders, you could do it with
base invaders,
and then you could do it with that special target that was that spawned, where you could get a drop of like a proto, or you know, one of the
yeah.
I think it was the ghost crawler. That's what it was. You'd
I
get
think-
shards, or
That was
you could
drag
drop a
prices,
ghost
yeah.
crawler.
I think it's a good idea, but it has to be implemented correctly, because not everybody's got 3 friends in the game. No,
Not everybody has 3 friends on at the same time, so it would have to be sort of.
You shouldn't penalize.
I would be
people
happy
not-
if they did it the way they did that ghost crawler raid one, where they dropped either a shard or, you know, a full ghost crawler if you were lucky enough. Because that one was, you still had the raid targets, but then you also could engage that with 4 of your friends. That
Or
I
just
like.
4 people from your
Because it's an
sector or
option.
from your
Or
world.
yeah, for any 4 people, yeah. But it was the thing was, it was an option, not
Not a requirement, yeah.
well, I mean, nothing technically. I mean, the thing is, the argument that comes back is nothing's really a requirement, which is really bullshit, because I'm not going to go and drag through A targets because I can't hit a 4-person designed S target, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It should be concurrent with what the typical raid set is.
But yeah, but they shouldn't. They should realize there's a lot of players that A, don't want to deal with other people, and then B, you know, even if
You
they
just hate
have
people.
No, I'm fine with this. I rule over these.
You hate people.
You know, during the base invaders, I planned out weeks ahead, and I created a super team, and we just, you know, those were the easiest raids because I created a super team, and we're just gonna run over because those were, you know, it was top couple in the sector. So you know, I was all cool with that. But at this point in time, there's a lot of players. There's a lot of solo players, and there's also a lot of powerful alliances that really skew things. You know, that are all talking on TeamSpeak, or you know, whatever TeamSpeak may be like. I'm referring to MySpace at this point. as far as how people are communicating, but they're communicating via voice, and they're very well organized and whatnot. It's really going to throw the balance off for the normal player that's just trying to play the game and whatnot, and really throw things off. I mean, that's one part of it that worries me.
I've got this.
Well, Hefe, wait. Can I look before we go any further, Hefe? Because you're bringing up targets from the past. How is that affecting us currently? Because you said this was something new that had just come up. So, what is it that came up that's bringing this conversation up?
No, it's a Discord conversation that happened today. That they're curious about doing this kind of thing again.
I think
I'm just trying to find something from the past that was similar that some people can relate with.
If I can relate that then back to the fact that I was having, for me, what was technically a pointless battle over a golden nexus because I haven't even started a bounty yet, but I was enjoying the group fight. I was enjoying the teamwork between me and the rest of the guys, and obviously so were Gangs Alliance, and of course we've got Discord, so we can get a few of us going and sort of like take out 4 of us hitting a raid target or something like that, because as you know it's all free to run. So yeah, and having that community, little groups of you doing stuff is fun. That's what keeps the game alive.
But not doing the right. I don't think it'd be a good idea doing to the right. You have to have that like it was with the drag basis where 4 people could hit it, or 3 or 2, or you could even do it yourself if you wanted to coin your fleet. But to get the points in a raid where you have to have 4 people.
Oh no. This is what I was saying. If you're going to do it, it has to be implemented correctly. It's an option, as I think was George was saying earlier. You don't. It's not a requirement. So maybe you wouldn't get any extra points doing, let's call it a tier 8 or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, or tier 9. With 4 of you, as you were doing a single tier 8 on your own, but you could have fun of 4 of you doing it as a joint venture.
Yeah, that's the way I see it. I mean, that's the way I think it would be fun, enjoyable. That there's still a comparable target that can be done in a solo manner. But yeah, it's if it becomes a real problem to try to do fleets by do a target by yourself, it may be a different target. But yeah, that would be a problem. The way I see the way players structure themselves, because some like I said earlier, some players are very well structured into groups and teams and whatnot. And some are, solo players that sort of sometimes deal with other players at certain times. So yeah, I can see both sides of that. And sort of the, what's the balance? What's the difference? It's the devil's in the details in that one. As far as I see it.
Take away the bonuses. Make the 2 different targets in the tier 8 5 million each.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Make a 4 player target that gives out 5 million points to each player. So you're getting 5 million either way. Whatever target you hit, either one of the 2 tier 8s and or all 4 of you participating in that. In the group battle. Yeah. That way there isn't any benefit apart from fun,
Yeah.
But also it's not just that, is that you might be able to carry a couple of your lower players through.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. If they ran it like the way they used to, you needed to have everybody online, because the way we used to do that was we would have one person with not the CUDA, the Spectre. No, was it CUDAs or Spectre? I forget which sub it was, but we'd run that sub up, and
Base Invaders 3, some people coined the CUDA, and we would run the sub right in front, have everything shooting at the CUDA while it was underwater while we killed the turrets.
Zero damage. First into That's
Mhm.
what we were doing. Yeah.
That was an old trick you could do as well before in basing. And that was run a sub that couldn't be hit and let it be detected, sort of thing, before they got good.
I remember Kudas taking bases themselves. I mean, that was insane.
That was one of my favorite videos because I had Cudas with D35 S's on them, and so I would go all the way through the base, and then I would surface at the outpost, and then take the outpost out. That was somebody taped me doing that. That was.
But it is an option. I mean, you could have 3 very good players and 1 slightly lesser player, and you could bring them in. You know what I mean? And the 3 other players know they're going to take a bit more of a hit to help out guy number 4, but that's normally what alliances are about. You know.
Yeah. But I guess the thing is the balancing point. If you want to run these things by yourself, are you taking more damage than if you run? What's the bonus of running? 4 people at a time versus 1 person at a time. I'm assuming versus a different target. I mean, don't you think that's part of the trade-off? You don't want to force everybody to do everything with 4 people at the same time.
Oh no! As I said, you could still have the 2 tier 8 targets that pay out the same amount as you would individually get if you hit the let's call it a tier 9. Yeah, that 4 players are in.
Yeah.
The benefit of the tier 9, where a group of players could play, you get the same amount, or it's a team thing, or it can help alliances bring up a player with helping gain some new tech, or even a player that a few unallied players could all hit something and help them each other. But there you go. So there's no penalty for if you just want to play solo.
Yeah, so basically it's as long as everything's balanced correctly, it seems like a fun idea.
But kick's eye and balance, it's not normally used in the same sentence.
That's true. I mean, we have a trust deficit.
Yeah.
As far as things like this getting done correctly and balanced properly and whatnot, yes, we do have a trust deficit as far as the player base. These things are going to be accomplished the way that we, and they're not going to be. Something's not going to be fucked up in one way or another. Is, I guess all I have to say. I agree with you completely.
But it'll be a way to start it, and see how that works, and then they can gauge it from there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But because see how the interaction would work. So there was no bonus. You wasn't getting something extra if you wasn't in an alliance, and you played solos on the tier 8 targets. So that the people that aren't in alliance couldn't cry that they're losing out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they'd still get that those that want to will still have the benefit of playing as a team.
Okay. Yeah.
I would still prefer to have them to not have it in a raid. I would still prefer it like you used to do with the drag basis, where you get your shards for mega hulls or whatnot from there. That'll be all fair enough. But I'd like to see the shards go away from the raid so that you don't have to get that many points and have some fun while it's not raid. You know what I mean? But everybody's different, and I guess it's. I don't know whether I would like to be playing with other people in a raid. I don't know how many people there would be. Why do I need to take more damage because you can't build your ships right, and all that sort of stuff. I don't know.
You don't have to go in and do it with anybody. You can go and do stuff on your own. You're not being forced to.
All I know is when they had the bonus targets before during the last, what was it, Scourge raid. That last sub raid, not this last one, but the one before. And we had those bonus targets, and we were lining our ships up outside of them because you knew you were going to lose a fleet and you wanted to have another fleet ready to jump in. Those were fun.
All they have to
But-
do to make it "quote unquote" balanced in terms of points is just make it so that those, because they're co-ops, the person that does the damage gets the points. I mean, they can scale it to that. They've done that in targets before as well. I mean, I think the biggest thing isn't really so much the implementation, because I think as long as they get the clear idea that, we want it as an option, not a better than,
Mhm.
the implementation, I'm sure they can come up with. It's the fact that they've got to understand how we actually want to see it, because a lot of times they have these great ideas, and then rather than figure out what the community actually wants, because we'll get excited about some ideas, and then when it comes out, it's just not really something that is either, sometimes it's just not intuitive to the players, sometimes it's just very lopsided, sometimes it's just implemented in a way that's not fun. And I still think this game has a lot of potential to be fun and make money at the same time. And they
Yeah.
just have to, I think they have to get away from trying to force the issue rather than let it kind of go on its own. Because I'll tell you right now, there's so many players that keep coming back and quitting, coming back and quitting. If the damn game was fun again, they've just got to eat it for a couple of months, make it come out, make it so it's fun again, and people will come back and they'll start playing again. I mean, I have no doubt the
Yeah.
numbers can go up.
But
It's
I think
Yeah,
it's
but
not
making
fun.
it fun again is. I I consider the Battle Pirates community to be split up into a couple of, well, mainly two different groups. Like the old school players that have been playing since like the very beginning are used to this whole idea of, okay, we're going to get resources from other players, and we're going to fight over resources and do whatever. And that went on for the first couple of years, and a lot of that was born out of boredom. Um, the hitting bases and doing some of this stuff was like, there's nothing else to do. But right now, we're in a situation where you know, we're having to do TLCs, FMs, yada yada. There's so much other stuff that's required of the player base, and a lot of players have been born into the community with, that's the situation. That this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go do your FM, do your TLCs, do whatever. And then you have some of the older players, or the people that have been brought in by the older players and in alliances with them, that they don't see the game working that way. And so you have two different communities that they need to try to sort of mesh together. If you understand me, that it's tricky. I don't know how you do it, because the expectation of these two player bases are different depending on when they join the game and how they join the game.
the thing is,
I see. Hold on. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that a lot of players that started out really early have kind of grown into, like, a lot of us. I mean, we play what we play now. I started out way the hell back in 2011, and I'm finding fun things in the game. It's just not. It's become more chorey, arduous,
No,
not
no,
fun, and they
I
can
don't.
make it fun.
Okay, I just remember when I started playing the game, there was nothing to do besides hit cargo. Well, no, I'm not talking about when I started, because you could only hit the mining bases. But soon afterwards, you could only hit cargoes and other players'
Right.
ships. And that
Yep.
was, you were better off hitting their ships than the cargoes, and hitting them with marauders and battle barges and
Right.
whatnot. With
And then
more,
we could start hitting bases. But here's the
yeah.
thing, Hefe, that of the player base that's currently playing right now, what percentage do you think has played before, say, mid 2011? Because mid 2011, all base hitting and all that stuff was already here.
Yeah. I'm more concerned with the group that, once we started to see the FM and things like that, which required, um, a shipyard drain, a resource drain, a time drain, as far as what they were doing with stuff. That group of players, once we started, creating weekly raids, once we started creating all these other things that required them to do a lot more quote unquote work and chores. And there's a lot of players that have been joined since then. And that's more my concern, is mixing these two groups of players together.
Well, they're already mixed.
They're mixed, but where's the direction? I mean, there's no direction to bring those two player groups together. Because one player group likes to do PvP,
right?
And one likes to do
PvE. And I think that you can actually implement both. I think that the problem is that they've got to find a way to make it fun in both. And right now, like for example, sniping is making chore stuff really not fun, especially for players that are PvPing a lot, because they're the ones that get sniped more than a regular player would, right? A PvE player would. I think it goes back to fundamentals. They have to address certain fundamental issues in each area, and they're going to have to eat it for a little bit. They're going to have to eat it for a few months, because if they make it to the point where you come back and the FM doesn't take 3 fucking days at 3 times however many hours of repair that you got to do, and whether you're driving or autoing, all that, man, we used to do the FM in 20 damn minutes. Bring that back. Yeah, we're going to eat some damage, fine. And we might lose one night in repairs or something because we decided to do our FM really quick. But the thing is it lets me decide what I want to do. And right now, because of the way that they have both sides of this kind of just kerflummoxed, I mean, players have zero direction what they even want to do themselves.
I used to spend like 8 gold a week doing the FM. Okay. Well, I'd have it done in 20, 40 minutes, whatever. Yeah. I didn't mind spending that because it was done quickly. Now
I never coined the FM.
Now now I don't. Now I just put things on long repair. That's the point. I don't actually. I don't coin now. Now I don't coin the FM.
Yeah.
So because they made it too expensive, or
but just because they made it too, it's too damn much.
I got you. Yeah.
I think I'm not coining that. If I really wanted to grind it out, I could go, with the icebreakers and grind out 111s all the time. But I normally use my dragons. I'll get 3-6 million, put it on overnight repair, come back, do the rest. All right, it might not be a lot, but if a lot of people are not giving them that little 8 coin, thousands of players are not doing that, they lose. Because you don't mind spending small amounts to get something done quick, but not bloody great big chunks,
The thing is, when like I'm a 7 million ID, I'm almost dead 7 million, so I'm about 11 months after the game has gone live.
Yeah, I'm just under 5 mil myself,
Yeah, so I remember all the battles we had, and I remember how we were talking and saying, "Oh, I can't wait for the next raid to get." Once we knew what weapon or what hull or what turret we were going to get. I can't wait for that. We can, do this, that, and the other. Now, who's looking forward towards the raid? I'm not. There's no way that I'd be looking forward to a raid. But then I think everybody was, because there was one item you might get a hull, or you get a special, or you get a turret. You wouldn't get 4 hulls and 16 specials and 3 turrets and 65 shards, and then
it was
point inflation went through the roof, and then the time required went through the roof. It used to be you could coin or grind, and you're not doing either one of them now. So
I won the dreadnoughts just grinding away for free, with battle barges and sea wolves. Now I put a lot of seat time in, but I got it for nothing, and I was quite proud of that, because I won it for nothing, But I was fortunate at a time I could spare that. I had that time to spare, But it was a crazy amount of hours, and I had about 4 or 5 fleets running on auto, and they were all instant repair. That was a thing, It was good, but the ability to do that now, the damage that's been thrown at you, I don't think there's any fleet that's instant repair now, that you could win the top targets with.
It's not so much instant repair. It's the not looking forward to the raid. like the whole alliance would be totally like a beehive, you know. And do you need a hand with this, or can I help you with this, and blah blah blah. And but you knew you were only going to get that prize, you know. And then you'd now be back to basic, and you put that on your fleet and think, oh, that didn't work. We put it on that one, and people would be trying things out. And it wouldn't just be 1 or 2 or 10. It would be like 80% of the population be trying all this out. That the new stuff that they got. There was excitement everywhere, but it's not like that now because it's just too much to do. You got the FM raid, you got the monthly raid, you got the bounty raid, you got the TLC raid. It's just too much. And I used to be before I get up in the morning, and the first thing I do, I press the button on the computer and then see if my base has been hit. See if I need to repair or do I need to do anything. I'm not doing that anymore. I mean, I come home from work and I'm thinking, oh, should I go and bugger it.
Well, and I think part of the issue is that, actually there's several issues going on. I mean, they want people that are PvP curious to get into PvP, but when are you going to PvP if you're repairing, 3 days your FM fleet, There's a lot of things that you can do in the game, and instead of letting us decide what we want to actually do, they're kind of forcing our hand in certain things and then limiting us in such a way that we can't explore other aspects of the game that we might want to do. I mean, they put on, this whole players first thing. Like I Wednesday I said something about, hey, let's be fair, there's a criteria for it. And there is. There shouldn't be anything put in the game that's just for monetization. But then, the expeditions were supposed to be our blitz free option for these resources. I mean, that was the whole point of expeditions, so they didn't introduce blitz targets for these things. And yet, what do we have on the map? We have blitz targets now. Why was that implemented? That doesn't help anybody. What they should have done is taken a look at those expeditions, corrected it, so that way people would actually use the damn thing that's already in the game. They've already invested in that. It's already there. Let's use the damn thing instead of making new shit that they had to spend time on. And I mean, come on. All this stuff. Bounty shouldn't be running until it's back to PvP, because the whole point of that was to try and get people that were PvP curious into the game and to start playing PvP and expand their game. And instead it's turned into raid fucking version 2.0 for the month. And nobody really likes it except people that love PvP. Well, they can just go do their FM then. I mean, what the hell? There are really basic things broken in the game, and nothing is going to improve until those basic things are looked at, corrected, and then they can go on. Instead, they're trying to pile things onto shit that's already broken, and it doesn't do anything. It's like trying to fill a bucket that has fucking holes in it all over the place. You're never going to fill it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the players have got, we've come up with a few good ideas in like conquer holes only, engaging each other. As long as we get a player consensus saying, that's what we would like to see as it stands. If you're going to do group targets in the in raids or whatever, because apparently there was something about it on Discord earlier, I missed that. But my idea is that if you're a solo player, you don't lose out, because you still get the same points whether you hit a single target or if 4 people hit 1 target. So there's no penalty for however you want to play your game, So I think but it's getting the players to agree that that's the right way to go, and then you can all go to Kickstarter and say, this is what we'd like to see, as well as obviously less bloody chores and lower repairs, but but it's getting the players themselves to agree, because as we know, you never please everybody, yeah. But if the consensus, if the group, if the majority of the players think that is a better way, and it's not costing Kickstarter any money, they're not losing anything. People would still be hitting raid targets, and things like that. The fleet will still be happening, So it's just saying this is what we want as a majority, rather than it's just my idea or someone else's idea. You know what I mean? And it's getting that across that this is what people want. This is what your players want.
Well, come on, let's be honest. There's there's no real consensus in the player base for the most part, because there are a very mixed, diverse player base. I mean, there are
Yeah.
some players that like one thing, some players that like the other. What I think they have to get a handle on is exactly what, I guess the easiest thing is, what is the things that players react to negatively, because they're doing a lot of that lately. And I think that, human nature, for every one negative thing, you have to have 10 positives.
Sniping.
And if you're going to have, negative things or things that are perceived by the player base negatively, you better have a whole pile of things that we're going to look at positively.
Sniping isn't encouraging players to play.
That's one thing, and that's part of the whole PvP, PvE split and all that other stuff. And we've discussed that. I'm saying in general, when they want to look at stuff to kind of get, I mean, come on, it's a business. They want to generate money. They have got to have some sort of way to create income and coming in. And I just see dwindling numbers instead of stabilizing or holding a solid base. It's still dwindling. And I think part of that is that it's the feel, the perception of the player base, for the most part, is negative. And they've got to get at least to a neutral place with the player base. Because you're not going to appease everybody. You're not going to make everybody happy. But for the most part, players are trying to play a game. They want to come on and have fun. They don't want to sit and have a second job that doesn't pay them. And that's what a lot of players are feeling. A lot of them are here just because of the community right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I have, right, I have deadlines, to get things done, okay, at work. Now, technically, a time-limited campaign is a bloody work deadline. If you have to go and do that, you know what I mean? You've got to get it done in a certain time, yeah. And like I say, it feels like work, doesn't it? And
I believe that's what I said Wednesday.
Yeah,
It is. You have a deadline that you have to, and it's okay. But I mean, it's like, I don't know, like this bounty. I mean, I don't even want to get into the glitches that, I mean, I've lost something like 25,000 bounty just on bugs in the bounty banking system and all that other crap, because I'm trying different stuff, and it's just, there's some messed up stuff going on.
The lag has been atrocious at the moment.
Yeah, the lag is awful, and that's, I don't know. It's there. I just don't know that, as far as going into the future, it's worth talking about. I mean, it's awful. We can't fix it. Yada yada yada. Let's move on from the lag, because it's they should be doing better. But,
yeah, I mean,
we can't by talking about it, we can't fix that.
No, that's their issue though. It definitely isn't.
It's definitely their issue. Yes.
I've got a 1 gigabyte up and down connection. Like with hyper optic. It's about the fastest you can get in the UK. And I've got a stupidly powerful computer, which for this kind of game, because it's designed for editing programs. So it's at their end. That's something that they need to address. Because the busier it gets, the more lag we get. And this is another thing that I want to address: is once they condense all the worlds down, I'm great. I hope it was mentioned the other day that they're going to keep all 5 worlds. Now I'm glad for that, because for people that live in different continents, they can pick the time where they want to go and start their raids and things like that. That's good. I think that's good for the community, good for the player base. But once they condense everything down, 2 things that did concern me, and that was the amount of targets that's going to be on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also, though, during the raid, the spawn rate. Because I know the tier 8 targets, when I'm doing the raid, I'm going from sector to sector trying to find them. Now, if all the sectors are busy, we've now suddenly got a lot more people trying to find the same targets.
Yeah.
So they need to adjust the spawn rate on those as well during the raids, because they've already removed all the other map targets during the raid. So they need to up the spawn rate in raids. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, as far as sector consolidation, I'm not a big fan of it. I just don't feel that it's going to work for many reasons. I mean, I would love for them to come out and say, we're doing it for this reason. I mean, You
I
know,
think
they're doing it
gonna happen.
because they've lost that many players. I mean, they haven't reaped the map in how many years?
well, getting rid of dead bases is one thing, but consolidating sectors is I think is a secondary thing. I mean, they don't need to do them both at the same time, do they?
I mean, if you're losing, look, the game's been what? Say they haven't reaped in 7 years, okay? And they're saying, what did the post say?
That's not
Something
true,
like,
but yeah, but yeah, but
didn't they say somewhere where there was going to be an X amount of increase in player interactivity or something like that? What did I see? I
Well, what
can't
does
remember
player
what they had said.
interactivity mean? Sniping? Does
I
that
think
mean?
it's just activity. I think it's just activity in general. But the thing is 7 years, right? We went from, I mean,
They've
what,
obviously got rid of dead bases over the last 7 years.
Can I say
not
now?
really.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I
I've
think
been in the. Go on.
what I've seen is that they move dead. If you don't play on your account for a while, the base moves, but it doesn't get reaped. I think I think we're probably going to see, if I had to guess, something like 75 to 90% loss of bases on the map. If I had to guess, because I'm guessing about 7 years, and I just know some of the sectors. Like I try and find dead sectors on occasion when I want to test stuff, and there are some sectors that have nothing in there.
And in the south, by the relay tower, in our sector, and I've been back about 2.5 years now in this sector because I moved to sector 1 for about a year. Yeah, 2.5 years. There's been 2 banned bases. Now you can't tell me they're playing, obviously, because they've had a ban tag on them for 2.5 years, and they're still there. Why? And it's not because people keep hitting them. If you've banned a player and after a month they haven't won an appeal or something like that, then they should be gone. You know.
I mean, just think of how many players were playing in 2012, 2013, and then compare it to what we have now. I mean,
I think the numbers then, I think it was getting close to 500,000 at one stage, I think. I genuinely think it was that high. It was really, really growing. I mean, not always on at the same time. Obviously, it was really, really busy. And then, I don't know, it's just started to sort of, that's why the numbers, the millions went up really high, really fast, quickly. So people are up to about, that started only 6 or 7 months behind me. They're on about 12 million, you know, like their IDs. And then once it got to about 17 or 18 million, and it's been like that now for about 5 years. It hasn't gone past 18 million. You know, you've got 18 million ID players or high 17s that have been playing for about 4.5 or 5 years. Because it hasn't grown. It hasn't grown.
No, 18 million ID player is not a 4 or 5 year old player.
I think they got to.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I might be
guaranteed
wrong on that bit. Yeah, but they've gone up pretty high before, and it just hasn't moved for a long, long time. You know now, and that's why you are seeing a lot of 17 or 18 million ID players that are over level 100, well over level 100. You know, not just because they've coined like Billy-O, it's because they have been playing quite a few years.
Yeah, growth is slowed. I'm not sure.
We haven't seen.
Oh, someone had to bring up Serpent Soul had to bring up the repair glitch. Yeah, there was a lot of people that did quit.
Yeah,
there were arguments on both sides of that. There was arguments on both sides of that because some people were like, "Oh, well, they repaired glitched, but they also then coined fleets out and stuff, right?" And yeah, maybe a little bit on that, but overall, if you're a business and you're looking at that, I think they lost more than they made that way. What they should have taken from that, though, the one lesson they did not learn from that is the fucking repair times were already stupid, and they've just gotten stupider as the time has gone on. That's the one thing that of everything else, that is absolutely the one thing they've got to look at, because that is such a deterrent to players playing. I don't think they quite understand that, because they look at it from just a monetary perspective rather than a player perspective, and that is something that's got to change.
The thing about that repair
dynamic perspective. I mean, because if you look at it, like way back when the game was popular, before everybody figured out glitch repairing and all the hackers showed up, the repair times were much lower. And they keep on increasing them, you know, for your turrets, for your ships, for everything. Everything keeps on increasing, which pushes people out of the game.
Well, that's why people were doing that glitch repair. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't find out about it. I didn't find out about that bloody glitch repair until the last couple of weeks before it sort of went public. I'm
going to put a caveat on that because it's actually a really important caveat. Back then, it was cheap to repair the stuff unless you decided to throw on like all DU4s and stuff, right? But the catch is this. You actually got a real value for increasing your repair time that much. So there was actually value added to that choice if you wanted to friggin' throw on, you know, DU4s and have, you know, a floating fortress that wouldn't fucking die. It would eventually die, and you'd go back and have a ton of repair as compared to one that didn't have a lot of armor, but you also got a real significant difference in the two. Now we have to have armor or we won't even survive. Have you tried running anything in any of these targets with no armor? And how long do these PvE fleets last? Fucking 0 time. It's ridiculous. And that's the thing, is the value that we get as players for things that are added in or are quote unquote necessary in the game. The value has decreased over time as well.
Well, it's a weird thing because the repair efficiency, you know, that's why I had to invent the term repair efficiency, like how many armor points get repaired over a period of time. But that's actually been helpful relative to the DU4s that you talk about. It's there's other things going on. I mean, it's you understand what I'm talking about, right? You know, we're getting more armor per repair time than we ever have. That keeps on increasing.
We have to, because the repair times keep on increasing.
Yeah, because
if they kept it to the one side, I mean, throw up an Inferno Dragon, or throw up one of the latest, you know, a Bat Ray or something, right? And if you had the old school 1 second per, I mean, how long would the repair be?
You might be dead before it's repaired. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you know, I'm not making a threat. I'm just saying the amount of time.
It would be 1,529 minutes divided by 60. 25.5 hours for one hull if we kept it to that. And that's the thing, is that these things are just...
What did you use as the... are you using like a Conqueror?
No, that was... The Bat Ray has...
Okay.
Go back to my Bat Ray. It has 91,750 health. Right?
Okay, so base Conqueror has 2.3 million. Tier 7, right?
I'm talking about the PvE stuff, because that's the chore stuff that is more or less a requirement in the game. I'm not even going to get into PvP yet. That's going to get even stupider.
Yeah.
But just the chore stuff.
That's why I kept on bringing up, you know, that part of the game as far as the, you know, the repair efficiency. You know, because it's... it may take weeks using the old mechanic to repair Conqueror.
And that's something that's, you know, that's on them, because they're the ones that design the game, not us. And they painted themselves in a corner design-wise because of the increasing in resistances. And instead of doing minute changes or progressive changes in the way they design targets or hulls or whatever, they made these giant leaps and bounds to the point now where we have, you know, what are we at, like 99.96 in some of these repair resistances on the hulls?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's silly. It doesn't fit the stats that they display in the game. It doesn't fit anything associated with the game the way that they are doing this current rate. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Like I said, very basic things are broken, and they have got to address those basic functions first. And it might cost them money for 3 or 4 months. Get everything together instead of trying to, like the PvP refactor, right? Just hand out all the crap so you can watch us play PvP and learn from it like you needed to. it would have messed up 4 months of planning because you guys planned to go to the end of the year. Get it all out, get some data, ask questions, and get the damn refactor out. And yeah, you'll eat it for like 2 or 3 months, but you'll also be working on it hard for 2 or 3 months, and it'll be done, and you'll actually have accurate shit instead of this half-ass crap that we got now because the stuff isn't even all out there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we're in the middle of a shitty bounty to get more prizes that,
Yeah,
how
they
you gonna
can't surely
balance
do
that?
the refactoring until everyone's got everything, built it, and used it for a little while to so it all works, and then know when they need to change it. You can't do it the day after you release the last part.
I mean, they had to have been working on this refactor already, so they're essentially balancing in a vacuum,
But
not
they
even
can't. They can't, can
understanding what the
they?
hell we're doing.
They can't because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know how we're going to use it. To some extent, I know. Even though we get sort of put into little pigeonholes,
numerically they can.
Hmm.
Okay, numerically they can. The catch is how we use the stuff after we get it in our hands. Because once we get stuff in our grubby little hands, we like having fun with it, and we like coming up with really weird shit. And that's what they needed to actually see before they started trying to do the refactor. And instead, they did. They put the cart in front of the horse again. And I'm concerned.
I think they've got to give everyone time once they release the last bits, and just so it goes into, because they're not going to be able to make a judgment straight away, because if they were capable, when you said you think they can, if they were capable of doing that in the first place, we wouldn't be in the position we're in now. They've got to see what we're doing with it, and only then can they make a judgment call.
Yeah.
Because like as I just said, if they already knew what we're capable of doing with stuff, that would, and they've seen the mess that's in, then we wouldn't have been here where we are in the current state, because they wouldn't keep running with it.
Okay. Should we move on to bounty, or I know it's all fucked up.
It sucks. This ain't a PvP event. This is another fucking raid. Don't get me pissed off.
Don't even get me on that. But PvP versus this has never been it's just another event. It just changes the way it is. It's not really a PvP event. Never has been. Never will be. It's just another raid or whatnot, because there's no way they can do it if they're dropping out important kills at the same time. They don't realize the impact of PvP on PvE, and so players aren't going to. You complain at times. Players don't want to lose their bounty. Not players don't want to lose their bounty. Players don't want to get all the rest of their shit fucked up. And that's what happens in these, in PvP. The attacker gets, I don't even, I'm sorry, I won't even use what I was going to say. But, well, okay, shit, I'm not certain. But the attacker doesn't really have that many ramifications. They are on to repair their shit, right? They have lower repair times than the player getting hit, who may show up 8 hours later, 12 hours later, whatever, and their crap's not repairing. Well, this guy's stuff is getting repaired. But in bounty, 4 hours later, you're open again. There's
sometimes not even that. That's been glitched for like 3 or 4 bounties now. I've gotten hit and not gotten a bubble at all.
Yep.
Okay.
I've not started bounty yet. I only want the XR plate free. 10,000. I can get that in a pretty short time on Monday if I need to. So I didn't see the point in leaving my base open for 3.5 days. When I've got other things that I need to do.
Yeah. Mike, I'm going to put you on present. Can you can you go back to the slides so we can talk about bounty? You still there, Mike? Maybe
Did
not.
we lose Mike?
I don't know. Mike's up to no good, so I'll drop Mike. I just wanted to, put some of the Bonnie slides up, but it's all good.
Should have paid him more.
Yeah,
I've got the store open in front of me. But I don't want to jump the gun, and you guys want to chat about it. So
it's okay.
I'll wait for the slides.
Well, yeah. Who knows what he's up to?
I just walked away. Are you talking
Okay.
about me?
Yeah, we're talking about you, son of a
Yeah,
bitch.
I was
What
gonna
did I
say,
do?
Put
What didn't I do?
put the slides back up.
The guy working the projector.
Yeah, just seeing, There we go. All right. We have the, okay. Put on present. There we go. And let's move on to, this is how to beat certain things if they did that. But let's move on to the next slide. Bounty 15. Okay. This ship, why do you want to build it? Is this better than the Highlander?
I'm not seeing it on the screen. Is it just me? Or...
Yeah.
You gotta
Why
click
do you
on
want to
Mike if
build
you're
this
in the
over the
Hangout.
warrant?
Hang on.
Why do you want to build this over the High Guard warrant?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you decide, I mean, that accuracy buff is the only thing that's staring me at the face, and I'm just like, yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting because that's a lot of accuracy.
15%. Okay.
That's about the only thing.
Click it one more time, Mike.
I didn't hear you.
Click it one more time.
Click one more time.
Click one more time. I can do that.
Yeah, once upon a time, there was a house called, I forgot now. I just knew it now, I forgot.
Come on, Toxic. Get it together. Stop drinking that rum.
Okay. The ones in gray and white, these are the special abilities associated with the High Guard warrant. Much better than what's going on with the Curator. The debuffs and whatnot. This is, I'm not sure. I don't know. Just for the people watching, like, I don't know that. Would you, A, do you want to win it, and B, do you want to build it until the refactor happens and maybe something changes?
It's nice to have them, but there's nothing convincing me that I need it at the moment, and that's why I just want the XR plate free. As I said, I'll do this bounty in an hour or so. On Monday, and I've not had to leave my base open for 3.5 or 4 days. I just can't see the point at this time. And I have done them in the past, but not this time. And I do have a lot of the other prizes anyway, so there's not much out there for me.
Okay. All right. I mean, anybody else have any opinions on the High Guard Curator?
I'm gonna win it. Not gonna build it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got one. Once I remember the other hull, I'll pipe in.
I say the only thing it's got is the accuracy, but then you lose, as you say, the other specials that that the Walden's got, which is the combat speed reduction, the projectile speed of 65. The turn speed reductions, and they're big. There's a couple of other defender holes as well. That give good buffs. That would seem better than this at the moment.
Yeah.
Before the refactoring, So.
Yeah. Okay, Mike, you want to go to the next slide? If you have anything else to.
The hull I was thinking of is the Punisher. Remember how a lot of people thought what a crappy hull that was, and didn't right? I was one of them, and it ended up being one of the most versatile hulls that we ever had.
I think the Punisher was that versatile because of the deflections that it carried and the resistances.
and I think that made a lot of people very sort of scared of not claiming something, even if it doesn't look right now. It may be good a little bit later on.
We've been conditioned for that since 2011.
Get everything.
That's right.
Get everything. Yeah, you never know when, because you know the one thing you don't get normally, that's the thing that's going to be the next sort of like golden child. You know.
I mean, the thing is that whole with that 15% accuracy is just. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what if you have like two of your, defenders is all the new countermeasures, right? And that thing, I mean, do you remember how good the Zealous is stacked with that accuracy? I mean, 3 Zealouses wouldn't miss anything. It was insane.
Yeah, I remember
so
that.
I don't know. I mean, I can see some uses for it. I can see some things that I might want to try and, manipulate a mechanic or two with it. Whether or not it works is a whole nother story.
But that's only a single ship, isn't it? Giving that amount.
It's giving it to every. It's giving it to every hull.
It's giving 15.
Right. The Zealous only gave 5.
But it's not. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. So it's not a stacking bonus on each curator. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they all give 15% and then that adds up, sort of thing.
No, it's all 15. I mean, 15% is a big number in accuracy.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
But there's just one big thing. It's only defender. Only defender. So you can't have an onslaught
offensive hull, right?
Yeah, or anything in that in there, because that wouldn't get it.
I mean, with those 2 special stacking with the cannons, there's a lot of things that I could play with this thing with.
Well, like I said, that's why I'm going to win it. I've already got 65,000, so it's already banked for me once the bounty's done. I'm not worried about it.
I haven't gotten crap. I've hit bases and haven't gotten anything. I've banked when someone was hitting me, and I actually told him to hold on a second so I could bank while when he got past 50. I didn't get the bank. I didn't get my bonuses from the Nexuses. I mean, it's been a crazy bounty. I am not amused. But on that note, it's 7:30. I have to go and get something to eat. Guys, have fun. Everyone, enjoy. Good luck in bounty. Have a good evening. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Good day.
Have a good one.
There you go.
Good night.
Hey, Effie's on mute. He must have gone to get a beer.
Yep.
Oh, he's back. No, all right. Let's have a. I could get this if I want to. I can get 30,000 in the day easy enough, but I don't know if I want to push that hard to make the effort. I say.
You'll see. I've just been autoing low level targets. I got some witch doctors out, and I just keep autoing, blind autoing. That's all I've been doing. And I've got 65,000 now, so I can claim all the new prizes and some of the tokens or whatever, No big deal.
Yeah, I've been doing the same, but have you ever looked into your blind autoing?
Sometimes I have to, because my witch doctor will just be sitting there circling in a channel, know. But
one of them I looked into was it took forever. It took like to go in there 3 times, and I thought, I better watch this. And it was like the thing was going 5 steps forward and then 4 back, and then 5 forwards and 4 back, and to move like an inch or two, it took almost 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And there's, even if you don't watch it, there's huge lag in these things. It's horrific.
It's trying to start battles as well. When I was, I was hitting a few bases earlier, trying to start battles, and it's like, wow, I could almost go and make a cup of tea and come back. It's like I kept thinking, is it started? Did I click it? Did I miss it? I mean, because crazy. But I mean,
Yeah.
no, I could do this if I wanted to. I mean, I've got 3 fully armored witch doctors, a couple of revenants built, ifrits, yeah, a bus, sloths. You know, most of the big toys my players have got. You know, so it's not something I can't do. It's just something that I can't be asked to do. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it is very boring. I mean, I shouldn't say I play another game. I've got that on another screen, and I look across every now and then, see if it's still red. If it's not red anymore, I click on another one, you know. But to wait for it, it's like watching paint dry, grass grow, you know. Then if you hop in, then it takes forever to get in and out. And yeah, it's at the moment it's very, very, very slow.
I'm just getting. I mean, I started a bat fleet, so it was the TLC, the 2. Was it Devil Driver and Hidden Depths? Just so I could pick up a few extra tokens for the bat fleet. I mean, I finished the Brenner's bat now. That's done. So now I just got to kit out the others, you know. So you know, I'll do those, and I left them done before Monday, and.
You haven't done them yet?
Well, nearly. I've got 1 round left to do on the Hidden Depths because I've been doing it for free. You know,
Is the lag in there just as bad as it is in the bounty, or is it?
no, not at all.
it's bad.
Not at all. No, not for me. It wasn't. I mean,
that's where
well, hidden depths. I mean, I was just doing it with prototypes, and so
Devil Drivers.
it seemed okay. But I haven't started the Devil Drivers yet. But I don't know. I know people were saying that the damage is still bad, so I'll probably throw a Grease Monkey crew on and just, you know, once I get to the top round.
Missile Mantis, I was able to do it for like 12 hours repair.
I've got both Manti fleets, so
The scatters don't do quite as well, I think. But
yeah.
Dr. Death, you know all about that.
It's
Well,
sweet though, isn't it? You know,
What they did in the targets, right? They changed what they changed in the targets was the amount of armor that the enemy ships had. They didn't change the amount of damage they dealt. They changed the amount of armor they had. So for the Razor Tails, which were killing the ships within 1 to 2 volleys anyways, it made no difference on the amount of damage that they were taking as a fleet. But the Bat Rays, which was taking a shit ton of volleys to beat down each of those ships, that was cut in half now. So the Bat Rays are not the Bat Rays, but the Missile Manties are able to kill those ships twice as fast now. So they're in the target half as long. Therefore, you know, they're taking a lot less damage.
okay, I'll give that a go. Cheers, yeah. I'll take them out.
I'm still getting like 12 hours damage on the fleet. So it could be just crummy driver, got a bad build.
Is that for doing the entire thing, or just
the whole prize pack?
Yeah. Okay. Then.
Yeah, but see, that's not bad when you think when they first brought it out, most people weren't even able to do the mastery round without losing their fleet at least once.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right, because I do remember being close to dead at the end of that darn thing.
Yeah, if you switched up your ships that had the Savage towards the end, and you took more damage on, if you had 2 Savages, yeah, you can make it work a little bit better. I didn't know about that situation, but yeah, it was getting hairy towards the end of the first run. You know, the first run. So,
You want these
do we have
slides going?
much more for the live show?
Still got a few more of the prizes to go through, have we yet?
We went through them on
I don't
Wednesday.
know.
I mean, we can go through them. XR Plate 3.
I think that's the one that everyone needs to get, isn't it? That's the no-brainer. Everyone's got to get that one.
Yeah. That, you know, the rad deflection and explosive deflection are great. It's until we see what happens in the refactor. What does it really mean? We don't know.
But you know you've got to have it at the moment, so
yeah, we don't know what's going to happen there.
it's
Mike, you want to go next one?
enjoy your PvP refits.
Yeah. Additional range for less ballistic damage. It's it's a spotter.
Most ballistic fleets don't traditionally have long range anyway, do they? That longer range. So taking range off of them, I can't.
No, we're adding range. We're subtracting damage.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Nah.
All right. Let's go to the next one, Mike. Okay. Now we're subtracting range and adding radioactive damage. Radioactive damage does not impact shockwaves, as far as we know. So this is just the primary damage that you show. It's not increasing the damage of the shockwaves, which is a different damage type.
But it's got a cool exhaust pipe. I like it.
Yeah. It's whatever. Rate store prizes. Anybody have any thoughts on this? I'm like I said, I'm sort of worn out on the whole thing. So
Well, I've got all the EPMs and all the other stuff. You can have 5 of each. I've already got all that. So as I said, there's nothing for me to go for. It's good that they're back in there for other people, but I've already taken them in previous bounties and stuff. So
yeah, it's it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. People aren't terribly enthused with the bounty as a whole, so the individual prizes, I'm not sure how much more enthused they're going to be about. I would prefer to get this one Siren Hall over the Curate.
I mean, it's not a weird choice to put muddle missiles and gluttonies in. Maybe it's catch up for players that have been out for a long time. I don't know, but just
well, I think it's a lot of the way that people are interacting with the targets. I think the Sinful Scattergun would have probably been a more popular choice. Is that in here?
That'd be better.
Yeah, that would have been a better choice. Between the damage done and the deflection gained for lower level players, it's much better than the muddle muscle.
And I think if you was going to put in the gluttony, you want the Phantom Glut as well, really.
I'm sorry, one more time.
If they're putting in the gluttony, I can't see it. You want to put in the Phantom Glut as well.
Yeah.
They haven't.
No.
Phantom Glut's on the right side, second one down.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Sorry. Apologise, I missed it.
No problem.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. I know that they're still useful. They're still useful for hitting some targets, but I don't think.
I'll do my bounty.
I was using them to finish stuff off. All this. I'd send like the Witch Doctors or whatever fleet and to cut out the middle, and then jump out and send in the subs to go and finish all the outside stuff while I go and hit the next target, hit the next. You know what I mean? It's that was working for me. I could have I've got 2 glut fleets, so I could have 2 glut fleets going and a couple of like other fleets going on auto. So like you can be running 4 at the same time.
Here's a quick question: Where have we been getting the armors? Do we only get them from the bounty, or did we get them elsewhere as well? Because if it's only the bounty, then what they should have done, they should have put the other 2 armors that we're missing in this bounty as well. So we've got the whole lot, and then that would give us more of an idea of what we can do with them. It would give them more of an idea about the refactor.
Well, for everyone to catch up, yeah.
Yeah, rather than having to hang on for another month or whatever it is.
I mean, personally, I think defensive things, armors, turrets, defender halls should be put out in either the FM or the raid. Because there's a lot of players that like to play this game, but they don't like PvP part of it. And so the defender stuff is important for them. But getting the conquer halls, not so much. So it's it's a weird little thing that they're doing.
Oh no, I agree. A lot of people don't do PvE, but they still want to be able to defend themselves. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Mike. Do we have any more slides? Or I think we're probably at the end.
I think that's
There
the
we
end
go.
of the slides.
There we go. I'll take you off present, and I don't know. I'm thinking I'm gonna end the show. We can go to the after show. I'm gonna post the link in the right hand side in case anybody'd like to join and discuss whatever. Unless anybody has any parting words. It says happy birthday, Toxic.
Oh, happy birthday, Toxic. Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Toxic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
23 today. 23 today.
Yeah,
With kicks on that.
he's 23 again.
Yeah, with the kicks on now.
Yeah. He's perfected the kickside mask. He's only 23.
I just had a rough life, all right?
Alrighty. Well, if nobody has any parting words, I posted a link on the right hand side, and we can go and discuss whatever. And see you all on Wednesday. Should be fun. What are we gonna hear between now and Wednesday? Anything?
Nah.
No, that's not true. We're gonna hear something. All right. We won't talk about what we're gonna hear, but welcome to join us. The link is there on the right hand side, and see you all later. And hopefully the lag will stop. So later, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Okay.
Not all.